Cherokee Ronnie back at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about what lift kits to choose and which ones to stay away from, or for your application, like what are you doing? Are you going off-road or mild wheeling or just town driving, mall crawling? I don't bash any Jeeper. I don't care what you do with it. I don't care if your Jeep is the cleanest thing in the world and the only thing you do is drive it on the blacktop. I don't hate on nobody for it because we all are Jeepers. The last video I made of this got taken down because of some words YouTube flagged. They wasn't even bad words. It wasn't even really a word. I mean, it's the name of the lift, and YouTube is throwing a fit. So I just took it down. I'm just going to remake it. And I think this one will be a little bit better because I'm actually out here and not in my house, and it's kind of dingy in my house. But anyway, let's talk about what kind of lift kits they sell for a Jeep Cherokee. The cheapest lift you can buy is probably blocks. Lift blocks for the back and lift blocks for the front. It'd be a round puck for the front and square aluminum box for the back. I do not recommend getting square blocks for the back for the leaf springs with stock leaf springs. For one, even with lift springs, for one, I've seen them explode off-road and the rear end just flies out. When you put them against stock leaf springs, when you put the block here, and your stock leaf springs are already weak from the factory anyway, and it starts to go like this, almost McDonald's shape. So I hate those lifts, and I encourage you to steer it clear away from lift blocks for the back. Now the front is perfectly fine. It's around either polyurethane or a piece of rubber or even plastic. If you get even cheaper in price, they'll be plastic. But I've never had a problem with those. They do ride a little rougher if you put them on the front, but they do work, and I've never had a problem with them. And a lot of lift kits come with that variation with the lift blocks for the cool springs. I recommend staying away from lift blocks for the rear leaf springs on a Cherokee. If you get a lift pack, if you got a lift kit, like a real lift kit, you can get lift blocks for the back, maybe like 2-inch, maybe aluminum ones if you're just doing mild wheeling and daily driving it. Or I think there's a company online that sells metal ones that would be perfectly fine, because what it is, the stock leaf springs are weak. They're just really weak. You can take a stock leaf spring off a Jeep and you can literally almost fold it over. That's how weak they are. The second lift they sell, I don't recommend getting unless later on you're planning on lifting your vehicle anyway. You can get on eBay, you can get on Daystar. I think Rough Country sells one, I'm not sure. Pretty much every company sells this lift. It's the pucks for the cool springs. I don't have a problem with them. And it comes with the drop shackle on the back. It supposedly gives you 3 in the front and 2 in the back. Well, the first problem with that is everybody thinks it's going to be perfectly level, it's going to be perfect, and usually what happens is it starts sitting like this. First off, when you put a drop shackle on, stock leaf springs, what happens, it pushes down on it and it wants to go like this, then it starts to arch down like this. So you almost start to get that McDonald's effects again, the little M shape. And it just can't hold that. How do I know? Because I had 2 Jeeps that had those lifts on it, and as soon as they lift them, it set 2 inches lower in the back, and the front always set higher. Never had a problem with the front, but the cheap lifts you buy for like 38 bucks, 40 bucks on eBay with the drop shackle and the pucks in the front, I don't recommend buying that. I don't recommend wasting your money on that at all, because really it's junk. Because you can actually buy a lift kit with the drop shackles already included with the lift kit. But I mean, if you're tight on a budget and you want to hurry up and get off the ground, I guess that'll do you for a while, but I don't recommend getting it because it's just kind of really a waste of money in my book. This is just from my experience. Every one that I've always put on there with stock rear leaf springs always sag. So that's just a little pointer for you guys. Then they have an add-a-leaf. Every company sells an add-a-leaf. Now this is perfectly fine. A lot of people have their opinions. It's almost 50-50. One person will tell you they're junk, and the other person will tell you that they're amazing. Now this is where quality comes into the picture. I had a lot of problems with Rough Country, but if you buy a good quality leaf, add-a-leaf, the full add-a-leaf, and if you're doing just maybe every every month you go off-road a little bit, mild, just very mild wheeling, and you know, you don't go major off-road, and you know, you drive it every day to work, and you know, in town, or you go out. An Add-A-Leaf is perfectly fine. They come in two different kits. The Add-A-Leaf will come with the Add-A-Leaf and the pucks for the front coil springs, or it'll come with the full coil springs and the Add-A-Leafs, and it might come with some other stuff. Just depends who you go through. Lift kits. This is where you want to do some research. Just don't take my advice. I'm just going to tell you what happened to me, and I recommend you saving up money. If you have $600, I recommend waiting for a little bit and saving up more. I know how it is when you get excited to lift your Jeep and you want to get the big tires under it and you can't wait. You just got to hurry up, and you got to hurry up and, you know, go real fast, lift it, put this on it, put this on it. But if you take your time, it's going to be worth it at the end. That's what I've learned after the rough country experience. Everybody tells me, oh, you know, you're wrong and all this. Well, it was a 3-inch lift. A lot of people are running 4-inch. I can't say anything about the 4-inch lifts or the 6-inch lifts or all that, long arm. Never had that stuff. But the 3-inch lift that I had was total garbage. Shocks are junk. So I just did away with it. And I recommend saving up for a Rubicon Express lift kit for a Jeep Cherokee, because the kit comes with pretty much everything you need, and the ride of a Rubicon Express lift kit is unreal for a Cherokee. When you lift a Cherokee, it's going to ride rough. That's all there is to it. Okay, it's going to ride rough. You can't get around it unless you do air ride suspension. Don't lift your Jeep, then come to me complaining, because that's the #1 complaint I get. I lift my Jeep and it rides rough, and it bounces all over the road. Well, I tell them, you know, let some air out of your tires. What, you got 40 pounds of air in your tires because you're bouncing all over the road? I mean, mine rides rough, but I'm not bouncing over the road, all over the road. And you guys always ask me how much air I run in my tires, the Tread Right tires, or any other recap tires, or even the name brand tires that I have. I run 27 pounds daily. That's it. That's all I run. And it does ride a little rough because, you know, you're putting tougher springs under your Cherokee. You know what I mean? So, but I do recommend getting a Rubicon Express. I would save up for Rubicon Express because that, in my book, is the ultimate. In my book, is a pretty good lift. And you can go way beyond that. You can save up a couple grand and get you like the best lift kit there is, but I would stop probably at Rubicon Express. And there's another lift you can do, is what I did on the Project Jeep. If you guys been following this channel, you guys know that I did this, but if you haven't, go start watching all my other videos. I built this Jeep pretty much from the rust bucket it was. I bought it for 500 bucks, did a little cutting, and got 3,500 in it, a total of 4 grand, and I can keep up with any Wrangler or anything out there. That was my point. It was supposed to be a low center of gravity budget build, has a locker in the front, locker in the rear, lunchbox lockers that is, and they do fine, they do perfect. I daily drive this thing now because my other one's kind of under the knife, but it does amazing on road. It has, this is the lift that I did. It has a Rubicon 4.5-inch coils in the front. The rear leaf springs, which I used main leafs of rough country, and I put the S10 springs. I cut the eyes off of it and used the whole pack, and I put the overload off the S10 on it. Now a lot of people ask me, why did I do that? Before I even put all the the junk I have in the back, it did set up in the back, probably an inch. I got about 5 and something inches in the back, and they told me, oh, you need to lift the front more. You're gonna have to get 5-inch springs or 5.5-inch springs for the front. And I told them, just be patient. There's a reason why I did it that way. Okay, I have a lot of stuff. I have a big plastic toolbox in the back, so I throwed that up in there. It takes up the whole cargo area. I put extra axles in there, because anybody knows it has a lunchbox locker in the front. You're either going to bust axles, you're going to eat axles, U-joints are going to bust, all that good stuff. In the back, you risk breaking axles. So, I got stuff like that in there. I got front steering components, anything I'd need out in the trail if I bent anything or broke anything, extra fans, tools out the hind end. I got hammers. So after I put all that junk in that toolbox, it's organized, it's set at level. I'm at 4.5 inches. The reason why I did that is because in the future, I don't expect it to sag like this or anything like that. The front hasn't sagged since I got the Rubicon 4.5-inch springs, and the back hasn't sagged. It's been pretty level since I've did it a couple months ago. I've had it off-road. I beat it off-road, you know, I drive it every day. So it's over its settling stage. So we're just waiting for years to come, and then it'll settle a little bit more. But right now it's perfect. I got the height that I like. It's low, center of gravity. It's not too high, and it makes a difference. So, you know, you can go the cheap route and do that. I can get the S10 springs from my pickup city for like 50 bucks. Then the Rubicon Express coils, I got a deal on those, and I got them for a heck of a discount. I got them for like nearly nothing. So thanks Rubicon Express for that. So I don't have very much in this lift. The most money I have is in a track bar, the lower control arms, and the YJ brake line was like 14 bucks. But basically, to do a cheap lift, all you need at 4.5-inch, you know, if you're doing it cheap like I did, all you need is S10 springs, front coil springs of your kind. Like I said, I lifted my 4.5-inch. You need to extend the rear brake lines. That's your choice. You can get them off Dodge Dakotas. I got mine, like I said, off of a YJ. And the front ones you can just pull down. I have a video on that. I'll leave it in the description below. And then you need a track bar, or you can drill the hole over and save you money, but I don't recommend doing that because that kind of weakens it right there. Then lower control arms. So really, you don't have too much money in there, but I wanted to do this to show you guys you can do it. But I recommend just saving up for a lift kit. You won't regret it in the long run, and it will be worth it. And like I said, Rubicon Express rides pretty good. I've not heard a lot of problems from them, and their customer service is right there. But if you guys have any questions about anything about my Jeep or anything, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what video you want to see next. I will try to get to them. You can check out all my social media links in the description below. Like I said, I had to redo this video. I'm going to be making a video on pros and cons of tread right tires. If you guys definitely want to see that, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. But I'm Cherokee Ronnie. Stay dirty, my friends.